name is Gaia Athena, and today I'm going to do a book review on two books actually, because I almost always read one book at once, but for the past week or so I found myself reading two books, so I thought I'd review them at the same time. The first book is Fall Down 7 Times, Get Up 8 by Naoki Higashida, and the second book is None of the Above by I.W. Gregario. I will talk about this book first. This is an autism memoir written by someone who has non-verbal autism, so he has a lot of trouble speaking, but instead he uses an alphabet grid to type, and that's how I wrote this memoir. Actually, there was another book that came first, that is The Reason I Jump by the same author obviously, and he wrote this when he was a bit younger, and then the second book, at least the one translated into English because he's originally Japanese, this book was written when he was a bit older, and I feel like you can definitely tell that. I wasn't a huge fan of The Reason I Jump. I mean, it was okay. Some things were quite interesting of this book, but what my problem was with this, that I felt that the author often spoke as if he seemed to speak for like all people with autism, and this kind of rubbed me the wrong way because there are a lot of things in this book that I personally couldn't relate to. That, however, is a lot better in this book. He uses more the I form and generalizes less, and I felt like you could really feel that the author himself has matured, his writing has become better, his way of expression. I felt this book was quite a lot of an improvement. In this book is also one short story written by the author, just like this book had a couple of short pieces written by him, and there are also a few poems, and there's also an interview with him in it. The way this is set up is a bit different than this one. This one was set up as kind of a Q&A, so there was a question and then would follow an answer. Whereas this book was split up into parts that talked about a variety of subjects, and within each part there were short chapters that spoke of a specific subject, whereas this book was just like Q&A, and the Q's and A's were short as well, but I thought this book flowed a bit better. Anyway, overall, this was a much more enjoyable reading experience for me, and I related to this a lot more. You may wonder why did I pick this up if I didn't like this one very much. I found this one in a deal at 2 books for a certain kind of money, and I needed a second book, so I decided to pick this up. And I'm glad I did, because I didn't like 100% love this, but I liked it a lot more than what I was expecting based on this book, and I felt like you could really feel that the author has grown a lot, and I think therefore that this is his better memoir. I haven't read a lot of memoirs by non-verbal people with autism. There is, I think, 1 or 2 others that I've read. Anyway, so that was this book. Now I'm going to talk about None of the Above by I.W. Gregario. This is young adult contemporary fiction about a teenage girl who finds out she's intersex. This is, of course, difficult for her to process, but then the whole school finds out through some way, and things get worse. I found this an interesting read. I haven't read any other books, I think, that have intersex characters. I do have, I think, another one on my TBR, but in recent memory this is like the only one I can remember. I found that very interesting. You learn a lot about it through this book. I knew some things already from reading a number of non-fiction books that touched upon this issue. So I've watched YouTube videos prior to this because I find it interesting. But yeah, I like this book. I kind of wish there had been a bit less focus on romance. So in the beginning of the book, this is not a spoiler, but in the beginning of the book, the main character, Kristen, she is together with Sam, her boyfriend. That was in the beginning, and I felt just throughout the whole book there, I felt there was a bit too much focus on romance. But other than that, I thought the book had some very strong points. It is not on voices, but it said in the back that the author is a surgeon, and that she it says that at the, I think at the author's note. Yeah, the author's note, it says that she once encountered an intersex patient and that inspired her to write this book. And she's done a lot of research, and I think you can tell. I feel like it's, yeah, I liked it. It was well written. I learned a lot, like I said. Yeah, a few times I found like that I kind of questioned the main character's decisions, as in I wouldn't have done those things or made those decisions or decided something different, but we're all different, so yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. So yeah, I liked the read, and I think it's great that we have books with intersex characters, because there are not a lot of them around as far as I know, and I think it is important that everybody sees themselves reflected in a book. So I think diversity is important. So yeah. So all in all, I like this book. I didn't love it, and the same counted for this book. So yeah, that was my review. Apologies that I'm sitting here in kind of a fluffy, lazy clothes. Yeah, thank you for watching this video. Bye!